behind me. Join me. I can see it frightens you to look into my deepest blue. But I'll be watching you from me.
Hello, thank you for doing the 1 minute silence with me. It is Armistice Day or Remembrance Day here at the moment in Australia. Obviously that time is different for everybody because it's 11 a.m. on the 11th of November, which is what it was 5 minutes ago. So how are you? It's lovely to see you. Hi Sydney, hi Larry, hi Grace, hi Jessie. How are you all going? It is awesome to see you. And I love that you say hello to each other too. Curtis, how are you going? And Pete, oh, it's nice to see all my friends. It's really lovely. Oh my goodness, I'm a little bit of a weary bunny today, so excuse me if I'm not on the ball. But I've been busy, which I'm not complaining about. I am very, very grateful. But I know it's only Wednesday, but I've done 4 gigs already this week, if the week starts on Monday, like it does for most people, I suppose. And yeah, I'm a little bit worn out. So, the Armistice Day, the Remembrance Day that we were talking about is kind of related because I was performing at what we know as an RSL club. And I'll explain more about that for those who aren't in Australia because it's a purely Australian phenomenon as far as I know. But I did a series of Christmas parties at a club on Monday and Tuesday. So I had to get up around 7, which for me is very early. And I didn't get home till about 10:30 p.m. So it was really, on Monday and Tuesday, they were both really long days. Oh, hi Pravin, how are you? Did I say hello to you already, Grace? Lovely. If I didn't, I told you I'm not with it today. So hello if I didn't already say hello. So yes, these gigs were for the members because they're actually clubs. So you, as far as visitors are welcome, you pay a really small amount. Sometimes it's $15 a year to join these clubs. Hi, David! First timer at a live. I'm still waiting for my catfish. If you could email me my catfish on the barbecue, that would be really lovely. Thank you. So these gigs were Christmas parties specifically for the members of the club. So you pay a very small amount to join your local club, and most areas have them. It's interesting, where I live quite near the city in the inner west of Sydney, and so we don't tend to have clubs. We do have some clubs around here, but they're much smaller. I guess because we're close to the city, there are so many entertainment options that the clubs don't do as well. But especially the further out west or up north or down south you go, these places are like resorts. They, the one I went to the last couple of days, the one I was working at, was quite a big one. It's called Mounties because it's in the suburb of Mount Pritchard. It's not specifically an RSL club. I think it's more of a sporting club, but either way, a community club. And they have thousands of members and they have multiple venues inside the club. So it's always been, these kind of places have been great for entertainers because they have mini theatres and lounge bars and, bistros and all sorts of things within the club. They're also kind of casinos because it's a lot about gambling as well, which is a bit of a fact of life in Australia, I think. Not always loved. How did your horse do in the Cup, Sydney? I don't know. Hi, Kevin. How are you? Well, I had a lovely Melbourne Cup gig last week, but I didn't actually make any bets. I used to. I don't know anything about the horses, and honestly, I do feel a little bit guilty about the treatment of horses too. I'm still trying to balance that in my head. Anyway, I won't be doing that today because my head's a bit foggy after all the gigs I did. So basically I did from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, and then we had a few hours off, and then we did 6 till 9. And they have to have more parties this year because of the social distancing and the number restrictions. So instead of having maybe 1 or 2 really big parties, they had a whole lot of separate ones. In fact, they're still going today and tomorrow too, but I've got so much on I couldn't do all of the parties. But I had a lovely time. So I'm not complaining. I've done a lot of singing over the last few days, and it's only Wednesday. And so this week, tomorrow I have a gig at the Star Casino. So what I'm going to do with these live streams now, I still want to do 2 a week so that I can try and catch people from both hemispheres. This one obviously being more friendly for my American friends, and some Aussies prefer it. Some Aussies prefer it too. So I'm going to stick to my Tuesday, my time, obviously. That's Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Sydney time. Tuesdays at 11 o'clock. I know it's Wednesday today, but normally Tuesday wouldn't have a problem with gigs. This time of year, possibly. And then I'm going to do my Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. But this week I can't because I'm going to change that to Wednesday. See, I told you I had a foggy head today. I have been doing Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. my time, but I'm going to change that to Wednesday because that's a lot less likely to clash with gigs. And the casino gig that I've been doing, the Star Casino, which is at the moment Sydney's only casino, and it's a beautiful, big, luxurious place. There's another one coming. So I'm working every week there basically until the end of the year, which I'm so happy about. And this week I'm doing Thursday, so I won't be able to go live tonight because I'm going to be crashed out because I'm too tired. But next week I'm going to start doing Wednesday nights for those of us that can join me either for both or for one or the other. I'm going to try and make those regular times. And I'm sorry, Jessie, I can't sing you a song today because I really need to rest my vocals because I still have 3 more gigs left for the week. And I'm really sorry about that. But I promise, I shouldn't promise because it might not happen if this kind of week happens again. Almost all the time I will endeavour to sing at least one song. And I want to try and do more music. But I'm still, getting everything together. So anything that you want to hear, either a specific song or you want something from me for these live streams, the whole idea is it's me and you guys together. So there's no point me sitting here twittering to myself if you're not interested. So I want to hear what you want to hear from me. So don't be shy. Either comment under this live stream or send me a private message or whatever you like. I always love to have a chat, as you may have noticed. But last weekend it seems like a year ago now, but last weekend was super fun. I did 2 of my Rumours gigs, Rumours being my Fleetwood Mac tribute show, of course. And we did the full band, which is less likely at the moment with number restrictions and budget restrictions. Because of the number restrictions, we tend to be doing smaller shows. And most of the shows I'm doing are solo or duos. That was duo yesterday. But on the weekend, we did 2 band gigs. And the government, I'm still kind of amazed and thankful to the government for putting on a series of 1,000 gigs in November called the Great Southern Nights to, obviously boost the music economy, which is the most wonderful thing. And November is traditionally Australian Music Month in Australia. And I'm not sure exactly what the government did, but it was some kind of subsidies that helped venues put on shows, which, how great is that? And so it meant that we could do some big band gigs where we might not be able to normally. And the one I did on Saturday night, I hadn't played at this place before. It was Barawa Bowling Club, which is called Club Barawa. So another one of these clubs, which I'll talk about in a little while. And we were the first live show that the club had put on since March when everything shut down because of COVID. And obviously it's one of those clubs where all the members, it seems like they tend to know each other, and it's an area where, people like going out locally. And so people were so thankful for us being there, which is the nicest thing when you're the band. People were really grateful to be out. And I asked, while I was on stage, I asked over the microphone if this was the first time some people had actually gone out to see something. And a lot of people said yes. And people were like coiled springs. You could tell they desperately wanted to get up and dance. But in Sydney, New South Wales, probably Australia, I'm not sure about that. New South Wales, where I am, it's still not allowed to dance. You're still not allowed to dance. So if you have a wedding, 20 people are allowed to dance, and a specified 20 people, so not 20 people at a time or anything like that. So they're still being very strict. Even though we have had lots of days with 0 numbers, every now and again we have a COVID case pop up. So they're trying very hard, obviously, to keep a lid on it. And I'm thankful for that. So, you know, we have to play by the rules because the fines are huge. So people were desperate to dance, and you could see that in their faces and even in the breaks. They're like, we really want to dance. But people do understand, and I think they're so grateful that they can go out and see live music again, that people are willing to play by the rules. And, you know, it was the same at these members' parties that I did this week. People really wanted to dance, and it's hard because we're trying to play less dancey music, but you still want it to be joyful and lively, so it's one of those balances. And we're allowed to dance and we're allowed to sing, so people, you know, and I feel a little bit guilty that I'm singing and dancing up there, and people aren't supposed to be singing along unless they're in groups of less than 5. There's all sorts of new rules that you've got to get your head around nowadays. Well, you say, Kevin, that the UK government doesn't seem to value entertainment and the arts. We actually feel like that as well in Australia, which is why it was such a nice surprise that we had this Great Southern Nights initiative from the government. So I hear you, Kev. I totally understand what that feels like, because Australia is a really big sporting nation and I'm not. So I'm sorry. You can ask me sporting questions and I'll probably say the wrong thing, even though my family were sporty. I didn't get that gene. But Australia as a whole is a very, very big sporting nation, and the people in the arts like me will tell you that the government tends to favour the sports over arts. I mean, I don't know why we can't coexist, but, you know, that's just the way it is. DJs are doing live streaming on Facebook, massive in the UK. Well, what a great idea, huh? I mean, thank goodness for live streaming. I love that. And Sydney is saying how I wish we would shut down. Well, I get it. I mean, you know, shutdown's not exactly fun, but at the same time, it's been working. I mean, you know, Australia is almost COVID-free. I mean, that's too long a bow to draw. We're not there yet. But it's looking good, and it means that we can get out and about again. And I know some people are against it, and I totally understand that as well. But, you know, we're getting there. And, you know, the announcement that the vaccine that got released, or not released recently, but it was announced that there's a vaccine that's 90% successful, and that's sure to make a difference. Once, you know, most people take the vaccine, then I think things will open up again. So, you know, crossed fingers. And Kevin, you're asking for a preview of Wallflower. Well, I would love to. In fact, you must have read my mind, because I put a little video together of some of the songs that are appearing on Wallflower. And for those who don't know, Wallflower is the album that I've been working on this year, and I've almost finished. I've got 2 more songs to complete writing, but when I say writing, they're almost there. They just need tweaking, and then I have to record them properly. The plan is it'll be out in the end of January next year. But if you're on my mailing list, or even if you're not yet, it's not too late to join. And if you just go to that web address, or even at the top of my Facebook page, there's a link. If you join up, there's no cost involved or anything like that. But if you make sure you join up, I have been sending out preview tracks, so free tracks from Wallflower, and we're up to number 4. If you're on the list, you'll get the 4th one tomorrow. Having said that, it depends when you join my list, because if you joined at a certain time, then I also sent you, in fact, the entire last mini album I did, so it was only 6 tracks, which is why I felt like I wanted to give it all away. I sent that through email as well. So depending on when you join my list, you might be getting those tracks at the moment, but you still will get Wallflower once you finish getting that. I didn't want to inundate you and confuse you and confuse myself. So the idea is, with this new album, Wallflower, I'm going to give away 5 of the tracks for free. And I want to talk about that, actually, because, I made Sydney cry with those songs. And, you know, I don't mean this to sound mean, but I kind of intend to make you cry. Don't take that the wrong way. I mean, I hope that it was enjoyable crying, because I'm the kind of person that I love watching sad movies, or movies that make me really feel heavily, and that tends to be kind of sad. But I'm a happy person and I want to be happy, but I think it helps me get the sadness out. I think you kind of have to confront the sadness in order to be happy. And so, you know, I tend to mine my memories and my experiences, and they tend to be sad ones, or bittersweet ones at least. And that's what I write about. And I do hope that people can relate to the songs that I write. That's the whole reason for doing it, really. Otherwise, it's the whole reason of releasing them. Otherwise, I'd just sit in my room and do it for myself. So it's that sharing of emotions and experiences that makes us human, I think. And if my music and my songs can help do that, that's amazing. Which is why I decided when I did my last mini album, Polaroids and Postcards, I wanted to give away all the downloads. And I mean, I don't give away the CDs because, that actually costs me money. And even though the songs cost me money to record and everything, I just got to the point where, it's really difficult to be an independent artist. I'm sure that's not news for anybody, but it's difficult to get your music heard. And I decided not to put Polaroids and Postcards on Spotify, even though you could argue that would help it to get heard. I feel like I love Spotify as a user because I'm always having to learn songs and I can just look them up and they're there. But I tend on Spotify I'll listen to something and then it's gone, which is different than if I buy a CD or buy a download or buy an album. If I've paid for it or if I've got the physical version of it, then I'm more attached to it. And even though I've been giving away the downloads to Polaroids and Postcards, so you haven't paid for it, what I do, it's almost like you can have it as long as you listen to my story first. And of course, I can't force people to listen, but what I do is I've been putting the little tracks on a web page, and you can download it or stream it or do whatever you want with it, even share it, I don't mind. But I give you the behind-the-scenes story, and then I feel like that's what it's all about. And there's always a story behind a song. And if you take that song and it becomes a reminder of something you've experienced, and so my story kind of fades into the background, that's totally fine as well, because that's what it's all about. So even though there's always a specific story behind a song, I hope that people take it and it becomes their thing, because that's what I'm like with music. I'll hear a song and I go, oh, I remember when that happened to me. And it becomes a song that's part of my soundtrack of my life, even though it came from an artist and probably was a piece of their life. So that's right, Curtis. Don't give to receive. Totally. I mean, just giving things feels good. It really does. And, it is wonderful when I hear comments that people have appreciated something or whatever, and that's enough for me to receive. But with Wallflower, I'm going to give away 5 of the tracks. And, obviously in the end, if people buy the CDs and the vinyl, that is great for me because it means that I then have the finances to keep creating new stuff. But if at the same time, it's been a difficult time for people, and I know, a lot of people have struggled financially, not only people in the arts like me, in all sorts of industries have. And if people just take the music and enjoy it and can never buy a CD and never buy a vinyl, that is totally okay as well. I am just so happy that people care about the music. Really, it's difficult to get people to listen to your music when there's so much going on out there. So just the fact that someone is enjoying my music, it feeds my soul. So I love it. So I'm giving away again 5 of the tracks from Wallflower, and it's not too late to join the list if you want to just sign up. Seriously, it doesn't cost you anything. Sometimes on my Facebook posts, someone I don't know will go, "You don't get anything for free." I get that. I totally get that. But if you never want to pay for anything from me, you are so welcome to be there. I can't tell you. So sign up there and I will send you free tracks from this new album. But I've put together just a little video of a few of the tracks. Now, if you're already on my list and you have received the previews so far, there's a new one on here that you haven't heard yet. And it's not tomorrow's. This is another one again, just so there's something new for you. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this.
You're looking me in the eye while you're singing about her. You don't see the crowd of 1,000 people here. Truth can be heavy. Is this your way of telling me you want me
if you've just joined us, that was a bit of a preview of some of the tunes from my upcoming album, Wallflower, which is due out, I'm going to say end of January, beginning of February 2021. But a lot of it is finished, and I've been sending out previews to my mailing list. So if you're not already on the mailing list, please jump on and I'll send them to you too. By the way, the tracks you're getting are not final mixes yet, because that stuff all is still happening. But, they're close. And thank you for... hello, Ree, how are you? And Larry's saying the beginning sounds almost like the opening song of a James Bond movie. I love that. I never intentionally went for that, but then after a while... I realised I kind of agree. I was, hearing the James Bond thing myself, a mixture of James Bond and, for me, the kind of Twin Peaks sound. And, so thank you. I like that you picked that up as well. And the cinematic thing, and, I'm a bit of a melodrama, melancholy fan. So I hope that comes across in the music. And so what I'm thinking of doing is doing a pre-order soon, and hopefully making that an attractive thing, because that'll also help me pay for the pressing of the CDs and that kind of thing. So jump on and I'll jump on the mailing list and I'll send you some free tracks. This album, as you can hear, it's probably not hugely different in style and sound to Polaroids and Postcards, which was my last release. But there are going to be a few tracks that are quite different as well, because it's a full album. And it's interesting, if I'm going to do vinyl, which I'm thinking about, 40 minutes is the sweet spot for the right quality of sound, because as soon as you put more than 40 minutes of audio on a record, a physical record, the quality degrades a little bit because the grooves have to start being closer together. So I'm just learning all of this stuff. So probably what will happen is, because I didn't know this until recently, I've written a longer album. So there might be 1 or 2 extra tracks that will be on the CD. And if you buy the vinyl, obviously, you'll still get those tracks as downloads or something else anyway. But yes, I'm almost there. Yeah, the next 007 will be female. Maybe they'll like an offsider with a James Bond sounding song. Oh, that would be the ultimate dream for me, to be able to do a James Bond theme song. So, just putting that out there. If you happen to know anybody in that world, let them know. Okay, I was talking about RSL clubs earlier. If you're not Australian, you might not know what they are. They stand for Returned Soldiers Leagues, and it is Armistice Day or Remembrance Day today here in Australia. So it's appropriate that I talk about it. But we have a lot of different clubs, and more so in New South Wales, in the state that I'm in, than in other states and territories, but they do have some in others. But they were originally set up to help returned soldiers, support them and their families, and to commemorate war efforts and that kind of thing. But there are also a lot of those clubs that are sporting. So bowling clubs, which we call bolos, because, we Aussies like to shorten everything. So with RSL clubs, we call them rissoles. I don't know if rissole is an Australian word. It's like a meatball, basically, anyway. And then we have leagues clubs, football clubs, a lot of football clubs. Usually not round ball, because our football is the oval ball league and AFL and all that kind of stuff. All very confusing for a non-sport head like me. We do have soccer clubs now too, because soccer's becoming more popular. But a lot of these clubs have really good entertainment facilities, so I tend to work in them a lot. And one day I was sitting at sound check, and, generally when you're the singer, you sound check last. So they get the rest of the band sorted first, and then the singer gets up and does their sound check. And so, there's a lot of sitting around that happens when you're a singer, which is not a bad thing, because I don't sit around much any other time. So I'm sitting around and I'm just happened to look down, and I really looked at the carpet. And it's not something that, I necessarily notice. You just take it for granted that there's a swirly pattern under your feet all the time. And I was just really looking at it and thinking, oh my God, that is the ugliest pattern I've ever seen. And it tends, because these places are massive, and a lot of them are quite stylish, but they're really big places. And people will tell you that the reason they have this swirly kind of design is to cover all sorts of activities that might happen, you know, spilling drinks and all that kind of thing. And when you're covering a really big space, I mean, if you had, imagine you had just one colour carpet, you'd see every stain under the sun. So a lot of these places have, you know, really interesting carpets. And so I just took a photo of the carpet that particular day that I noticed it, and I put it up on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, and I tagged it RSL carpet. And so many people commented that I thought and loved it and said, keep doing it. So I do. I try to remember everywhere I go that has an interesting carpet, which is a lot of the places I go to. And people keep talking about a coffee table book, and I'm not sure about that. But here are a few examples. I don't actually have my favourite. My favourite example is actually, I think it's Cronulla RSL. And it has a maritime theme. It's got fish and all sorts of things. And I couldn't find that photo at hand, but if I do, I'll post it because it's just so cute. And I love it. I just think it's character and it's really interesting. But you can see by the designs, they're purposely designing these carpets so that any manner of stain is not very noticeable, which is totally understandable. So there's my RSL carpets, and you will see some strange patterns, especially if you look at my Instagram feed. So you're probably thinking, what is she doing? Now you know. Hi, hello, Chip, how are you? Nice to see you. And by the way, if I've missed anybody, you know, saying hello, it's not because I don't want to say hello. It's because sometimes the comments go by very quickly and I miss them. But I'm so grateful for you to be here. So thank you. Okay, so, you know, I always try to share some good news, because the more good news we have, the happier we are, I think. And there was a lovely story, I don't know if you heard it, about a boy that travelled a long way just to hug his grandma. And I just think that's so beautiful. So I'll just play you a little bit of this video.
Welcome back. Now, many of us have been separated from loved ones this year, but one boy has gone to incredible lengths to see his granny.
Romeo Cox walked thousands of kilometres and crossed several countries, and after a fortnight in quarantine, he's given his beloved gran the biggest hug ever.
From Sicily to London with love. Little Romeo Cox spent 93 days on the road, crossed 4 countries and covered almost 3,000 kilometres just to see his granny.
The first 2 days, apparently, it was very good.
The 11-year-old hatched a secret plan during lockdown. Initially, Mum and Dad needed persuading.
I had to convince them by eating all my vegetables, doing good and lots of
Come
homework.
July, Romeo and Dad Phil set off on the adventure, walking, cycling and sleeping under the stars. In Tuscany, they picked up Pedro, the donkey.
And I wanted to share that. That boy is the same age as my son as well, and I think that's just lovely. And this, I got to say, I had something in my eye when I looked at this photo. Just look at her face and look at his face. Oh, I think that's so lovely. The other thing, you know, I like to do is share a funny cat video. I don't know if you saw my little cat Smokey, who is out and about today because it's a beautiful sunny day here. She thinks the window in my office, which is in the roof, which is, you can see a window above me now, she thinks that's a cat door. So, you know, I've got fly screens on them, and so she tried to get in and she didn't really understand what the fly screen thing was, and so she's got her face pressed up against the fly screen trying to get in. So that's my funny cat photo for today. But people can be funny too, and so I found this little video and I just adore it. It is ice cream weather here at the moment. Hope he's got great feet. Isn't it cute? I hope that put a smile on your face. It put a smile on my face, and it did make me want to eat ice cream, but I think I'll stick with a spoon. Anyway, so lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me today. And please make sure, if you're not already, jump on the email list, because I do try to send out little things that, also, I hope, put a smile on your face, or in Sydney's case, make you cry. But they're good tears, right? Because then you get it out and you always feel better. I won't be back the rest of this week because gigs are really, really busy, and which is good. It is very, very good. But I will be back next week. As I said earlier, in case you missed it, I'm going to try very hard to stick to a schedule of Tuesday. It's Wednesday here in Australia at the moment, but Tuesday at 11 o'clock. That's Sydney time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And then Wednesday night, I'm going to move to, because I've got a lot of gigs coming on Thursdays, Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. my time. So I hope to see you at one or the other of those. The live streams stay up on Facebook if you miss them anyway, but it just means that I don't see your comments live, obviously. And they also go up on YouTube. If you're not already on my YouTube channel, I post lots of stuff on there at least twice a week. So that's youtube.com/Amanda Easton, like Sheena, as I like to say, so you know the spelling. Anyway, lovely to see you. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I always love hearing from you. So send me a message or send me a comment, and I hope to see you soon. All the best. Bye.